as the long off-season draws on and on and on, with just the occasional sniff of signings every so often to keep you going. It's only right that we find out the dirt of what's really been happening here in the storm shelter in the off-season. Some of the subjects we're going to discuss today are how a partnership with Salford University could help secure some of the best signings for the club for seasons to come. We'll also discuss the names who are already committed to the roster for next season and also the management's aspirations. Well, joining me today, who can help me do that, is one of the managers. It's Neil Russell, the General Manager. Neil, how are you?
Hi Claire, very well thanks.
Now, we are going to hear from some questions from some of the fans, but I have to pick up on one particular question that was sent to me, which is from your boss, Mark Johnson. He says, what the hell have you been doing since April?
He's a cheeky bugger, isn't he? He's a cheeky bugger. Plenty, Claire, since the end of the season, but yeah, listen, it's been busy. Kind of working on the commercial front, kind of getting everything boxed off at the end of the season, but very much now, of course, looking ahead to the new season, which is fastly creeping up on us.
Well, you can hear the magic music behind us of Harry Potter occasionally. Let's talk about some of the magic that's already starting to happen when we come to signings, because we have to be honest, that's what everybody's looking for. Your take on some of the signings that we've seen so far, is there a favourite for you?
Well, I think but no shock to certainly people back in Belfast. You know, the big thing for me was trying to find that franchise player, and Pash very much wanted that franchise guy as well. And I think we've kind of found that in the likes of Eric Nielsen. Big personality, tough guy, brilliant in the community, and that's something, as you well know, we place huge significance on here with the Storm. So I think bringing in someone like Eric, who's a huge personality, will really grip the imagination of the people across the Elite League, and none more so in the people here in Manchester and at the Storm Shelter.
I thought you were going to point to Harry Potter then, but you know. So Eric Nielsen, another person who seems to be kind of shining quite brightly, is Trevor Johnson. What are your thoughts on him?
I think Trevor Johnson's going to be a stud in this league. I have to say, again, you know, the type of people that I want and like in this organisation. Trevor Johnson kind of encapsulates that in many ways. A very professional guy. He's been a leader in nearly all of his teams that he's played on throughout the course of his career. Handles himself very professionally as well, and I think whenever he arrives here at the start of the season, I think the fans will really take to him. He's an offensive defenseman, so he's a silky smooth skater, puts up good points as well, and I think he'll be a firm fan favourite here as well with the Storm faithful.
I think he sold it to us anyway. And the other one, it was Mark Heatley. Cracking guy, obviously many people have heard of his brother Danny. How did that come about? Because he's got significant experience. We're going to go on to talk about the partnership with Salford University. Yeah. How big a part, you know, was that in securing him, and why did you want to go for him?
I think, well, certainly it's, you know, as I've said many times, I mean, it's Pash's job to kind of put this team together, and Mark was somebody that kind of flashed across our radar towards the end of last season, and Pash was very keen to get him here, touch base, and obviously the NBA, which I know we will go on to talk about in a bit, was a big thing for Mark, furthering his education and what have you. You know, the feedback that we got on Mark was very, very positive as well. I mean, played extensively in Germany, put up really good numbers in DEL2 and what have you. So we're expecting him again to provide that extra bit of leadership, but also to put up a lot of points here. So, you know, I think that's the dynamic shift that you will notice in this Manchester Storm team compared to last year. The leadership intertwined with some of the younger, maybe less experienced type guys.
He's dual citizenship. He's German and Canadian. Just from speaking to him, I haven't yet had a chance to meet him and interview him yet. Does he consider himself Canadian or German?
Good question. I would say he would consider himself Canadian.
One of the key sidings for fans was getting Paul Phillips back. And how did that come about?
Paulie was right up there with the guys that we wanted to come back here next season. I mean, everything that he kind of brought to this organisation, both on and off the ice, was absolutely superb. Bought in right from the very start, knew exactly where we were as an organisation, and you know, firm fan favourite here with the Manchester Storm fans, and you know, put up a lot of points for us as well. And you know, that offensive defenseman, just you know, the type of guy the fans just absolutely love, and you can see the work rate and determination that he put in, night out, and obviously evidence that the night that he got his face and his teeth rearranged up in Braehead. I mean, I remember speaking to him later on that night whenever he was in hospital in Glasgow, and you know, he was, I'm playing tomorrow, not even up for debate. And I love those types of guys, and he was a big target for us to get back here, and absolutely delighted to have him back.
And actually, I did text Paul asking how his teeth were, and he said they're perfect. So
Absolutely, I'll keep his mum happy as well. I think he was more worried about his mum's reaction than his own teeth, to be honest.
I must mention, actually, playoff weekends. Paul Phillips was named in the second team for All-Star for the Elite League, got a trophy, and so did Siska as well, but the trophy didn't make it to him in one piece. That's probably a story for another day, isn't it?
That's a story for another day, Claire, yes.
So let's look at some of the other people. Let's talk about the Brits that are on the team. Davy Phillips, of course, has been released. He's gone to Sheffield Steelers.
Yeah.
So Paul Swindlehurst is back for the Storm. Jack Prince and who have I missed?
Adam Harding.
Adam Harding. What are your thoughts on them?
Delighted to have Swinney back. Big physical presence again on the blue line. Plays a good physical game. I think Paul, obviously had a bit of a difficult season last year, starting off with the Nottingham Panthers, then moving to ourselves towards the end of last season. But now that he's got a full season here to concentrate on his game here with the Manchester Storm, he's a local lad as well. His family are heavily invested here with the Manchester Storm as well. So I think we'll see a big season. And I think Paul obviously didn't make the GB squad at the end of last season. So I think you'll see Paul coming in here really, really motivated. He wants in that GB squad. Jack Prince coming in. Obviously, that was Omar and Pete Russell speaking quite a bit about Jack, and Jack obviously was involved in the GB squad previously. Comes in highly recommended, really good guy as well. Buys in, which is really important to us. But Adam Harding as well played for us over the Christmas time. If you remember, whenever we had a lot of injuries, really liked what he kind of contributed here. Came in and worked his backside off. Scored a goal as well. I think it was a New Year's Day game, maybe against the Sheffield Steelers. I think he got the goal, but absolutely superb, and just liked everything that he kind of brought to the table. And I think he's already he's been long into the off season, but he's been working out really hard and doing a lot of stuff on the skating and all the rest. So I think we'll see a really highly motivated Adam Harding in here next season as well.
And then of course Cody Cartier and Connor Varley as well, two more to sign up.
Yeah, I mean Cody Cartier comes in here, somebody that kind of flashed up on Pash's radar very early into the off season. Pash really likes this guy. He's fast, he's skillful. Coming into the professional hockey for the first time. I mean, he's someone. Pash always likes to try and find these hidden gems. I think Cody Cartier will be one of those. Again, similar with Connor Varley. He's someone that Pash has been speaking to over the kind of the last month or so. Someone he likes a lot. He's not the tallest guy, but he's a physical defenseman. Kind of got the nickname, I think, back home of all business, and he's just that type of guy. Very, very professional in the way in which he goes about things. A lot of the references that came back from former players, former teammates, coaches, and what have you, were very, very strong on Connor as well. Coming out of a really good program at Penn State as well. So we're expecting big things as well from Connor and Cody.
People are obviously asking about players that are likely to re-sign. A couple of the names that are coming up again and again and again. They seem to be, well, three actually that stand out to me. Matt Siska, Grant Tallman and Ricky Burzins. Your thoughts? Can you give us any reaction on that?
I think it's one of those things that, whenever, I think the thing that Manchester Storm fans and fans probably right across the league have to be aware of as well is, sometimes a club wants to bring players back, but sometimes that player is highly sought after by other clubs, either in the Elite League, and maybe are able to afford to pay that player a bit more, or maybe the player wants to kind of look and has aspirations to play in maybe higher leagues in Europe, so kind of looks around for different options. Putting a team together, it's a bit like a chess game, and Pash is very, very good at it. I know you're thinking I'm answering this very politically correct, like a politician here, but it is the truth. I mean, it's one of those things that Pash makes those decisions. Pash and I obviously speak about all the individual players. We have exit meetings and we kind of try and ascertain from those players, you want them to come back next season, or we're keen to have you back next season and what have you. But as I say, it's very much, a lot of players like to go away into the off season, kind of see the lay of the land, see what other offers are out there. See, at the end of the day, this is the player's career as well, and we all want to maximise what we can earn in our own careers. So wait and see on any more returnees.
Well, of course, everyone has got their eye on what's happening overseas at the moment. They're looking to Australia, where Paul Swindlehurst and Grant Tallman are playing together, and they seem to be just ripping up the league at the moment. They're scoring left, right, centre. people are kind of wondering, because that partnership is working so well, whether that partnership could work here next season.
Well, firstly, I think it's brilliant to see Grant and Paul doing so well out there. I mean, it's what a remarkable opportunity hockey gives players. I mean, getting all the way out to Australia, seeing a different part of the world, and getting to play the sport that you love. And Grant's obviously spent the last kind of 7 or 8 months here in Manchester prior to heading out to Australia, so he's certainly living the dream at the minute. I think, as I said to you, in the previous question, Claire, I think it's one of those things that very much Pash deals with a lot of the players from last season, speaks to them. Sometimes it's a club decision. Sometimes the player himself maybe wants to look at other opportunities, explore other opportunities, and see where offers maybe taken, but certainly not ruling anything in or out at this stage.
One of the people who has jumped ship, I suppose, is Vinnie Scarzella. He's signed on the line for Dundee Stars. Was he a player that you wanted back? 100%.
Yeah, disappointing, that one, I have to say. I mean, Pash and I both really like Vinnie, liked his game. I think the fans really bought into Vinnie as well. He was tenacious, he was diminutive in size, but he was a guy down in the corners there. He was willing to get in there and get dirty and go and fight for that puck, and put up a lot of points for us last season as well. So Dundee have got themselves a good player, but from our perspective as a club, I mean, we did want Vinnie back. We did make him an offer, and what we felt was a very fair offer, but he decided to go to Dundee, which is, as I say, I mean, listen, ice hockey, Clare, is a very nomadic sport. It's one of those that sometimes it's money, sometimes it's a buddy that's on your on the team that you're maybe got an offer from. So I mean, listen, it varies from player to player. Personally, I was gutted to see Vinnie move on. Hopefully someday we'll see Vinnie back in the Storm jersey.
Was it just a case of money, do you think, when it came to Vinnie?
Listen, honestly, I don't know. It'd be wrong of me to kind of comment on that, and go into any more detail. But we certainly made Vinnie a good offer to come back, and we really wanted him. We really, really liked Vinnie, and I know from whenever his parents came over here, I think it was in around Christmas time, like a few of the other parents that came over. I mean, they absolutely love coming over here to Manchester as well. But as I say, who knows? I mean, hockey is that type of sport. It's nomadic. We wish Vinnie all the best, just not against the Manchester Storm.
Well, of course, one of the things that you have been working on secretly, I believe, for many, many months is the partnership with Salford University. We see that other clubs across the Elite League have already kind of done this, where they secure good players, but giving them something extra to study whilst they play. How does that come about? Because I know Manchester does have 4 universities, or 3 at least. How did it come around with Salford?
Well, firstly, as I kind of mentioned in one of my PRs the other day, I mean, whenever I arrived here, it was Mark Johnson will back this up. This was one of my key priorities. I really wanted to get the NBA package here in Manchester. It's not an easy thing to achieve, especially in a city that's not necessarily known as a hockey hotbed. And listen, we first made contact with Salford Uni way back in September, October time, and it took quite a lot of kind of backwards and forwards discussing how the NBA deals work with other clubs and how we would kind of envisage it moving forward with ourselves. And listen, it's a huge thing, Claire, for us. It's massive. It's worth the guts of £20,000 as an education. So to North American players who have done their undergrad but want to kind of go on and get that further education, that master's, it's an enormous enticement to kind of bring players who maybe ordinarily wouldn't come to this league, or guys that you really want to have back and tie them up. It's a huge enticement, and delighted that we got Mark Keatley. He was our first guy that was on the NBA, and then of course Paulie Phillips, and those guys. I think it's important as well from my side of things as club general manager that I'm 100% confident that we're sending good ambassadors of the Manchester Storm into the university. I think that's really important, and I know, obviously don't know Mark personally at this stage, for Skype calls and communications with Pash and him and all the rest. But I know Paulie really well now. I'm absolutely 100% confident that both those guys, and Paulie obviously is someone that I know will go in there and do really, really well.
Let's talk business, because obviously that's what you're here for. How are season tickets and sponsorship going so far?
Going really well, I have to say. I mean, we're very close to hitting our kind of season ticket target already. and we've still another kind of couple of months before the season starts, so we're in a very strong position there with regards to sponsorships as well. I mean, do I have the time that I really, really want to focus on it? No, I don't. Have we brought in new sponsorships? Absolutely we have, and we'll find out more about that over the kind of next 2-3 weeks. Some really exciting ones and some fairly lucrative ones as well, and we've quite a few on the back burner as well, which we kind of hope to get tied up over the next kind of month or so as well. So it's all really, really positive. I just want a real focus on it now between now and the start of the season. But it's something that I have to say overall as a business, I'm happy where we're at. Can it be bigger and better? Of course it can, but you have to sometimes remember, you and I are sitting here right now, and the club isn't even 12 months old. So, I mean, it's remarkable what we have achieved, kind of on and off the ice in many regards, and that's only going to continue to build and build as we move forward.
Is Mark happy?
An owner's never happy. Mark's never happy. Yeah, yes, he is. I mean, listen, Mark saw it as well as anybody, Clare, how we grew. I mean, in essence, whenever we started here last August, it's a brand new club in essence, and you're trying to capture the imagination of the local people here, not just in Aldringham and surrounding areas, but right across Greater Manchester. And I think we managed to do that. Is there more scope to do even more? Absolutely, 100% there is. And I think genuinely by the end of this season coming up here, I think we'll see this place pretty much packed out on a regular basis. I'm really confident of that.
You just mentioned match nights there, and actually in a big exciting moment for you was securing John Hammond to come back here and does what he does here in the Storm Shelter. But also the OSC, the official supporters club, they'll be doing match nights as well. What can we expect?
Will you say that John's key? I'd use another word. I mean, he's pivotal. He is our match night. Absolutely. I mean,
is he your idol?
He is. He's my boy. I love John Hammond. I mean, I love everything that he does, and he's been a really, really good confidant for me as well. We've become good friends over the last year, and it all came about from me listening to your podcast, chat with John. Claire, do you have John Hammond's number? Touching base with John.
And we were sat just the seats,
absolutely,
just down here.
I know it's scary. It seems like about 5 years ago since that conversation, but listen, John's pivotal, and what he provides here, for me, it's a really unique experience whenever you come here, and you can see in the feedback that we got from all the travelling support last year. I mean, it was phenomenal, and John is just that guy. He engages the crowd, and one of my lasting images last year was on the New Year's Day sellout game here, where he had 2,000 people up doing the YMCA and doing the Grand National, all that type of stuff. And it sounds silly, but it's brilliant to see, and people buy into John, and I'm delighted to have him back. With regards to the OSC, yeah, they'll be running some of our match night in terms of the Choco Puck and 50-50 shirt off the back and what have you. They're going to be helping out with all that type of stuff.
Well, obviously, we've been asking people to send some of their questions, and I have a few of them here. Nick says, when can he expect news on a netminder? You've talked about the netminder as the stud of the team. What's happening behind the scenes?
I think we'll probably expect to see some news on that front in the next maybe next 2 weeks, maybe even sooner.
Simon asks whether there is any pre-season game info. Do we have dates on those at the moment?
Dates all pretty much now confirmed, so I would expect by the end of this week, I'm not sure when this is going out, but by the end of this week, latest at the start of next week, we'll have the pre-season fixtures out there.
Stephen asked, did signing Eric Nielsen help secure other signings?
Good question. I mean, no, certainly not inadvertently anyway, but I mean, it's Eric's he's a big personality. He's well known across North America from his time in the American League and the East Coast. I know the Pash and him speak reasonably regularly, and they're in consultation about the team and kind of prospects that we're looking at. And obviously with Eric, the experience that he has, he's kind of thrown a few names Pash's way. So I definitely would say that he'll be beneficial, certainly moving into our last kind of remaining signings.
Now, a question here about merchandise. Another Stephen says, what about an online shop and also a webcast?
Online shop will 100% be in operation for the start of next season, if not sooner. Just trying to finalise that at the minute, but certainly hope maybe in the next month to 6 weeks that'll be up and operational. With regards to the webcast, still hemming and hands slightly on it. I think we probably will go down the webcast route for next season. It's a good income generator as well. I can see both sides of the argument. From a business perspective, people, for example, Nottingham and Braehead, Neil Black, his owner, very adamant we won't have webcasts. That's 100% their decision. I respect any decision made. I mean, it's their business at the end of the day. Whereas I look at ourselves, they would maybe come from the point of view that, well, it might stop people coming. I think your hockey fans are your hockey fans. And if you're a Manchester Storm fan or a Belfast Giants fan, a Panthers fan, you'll be going to that rink, or you'll go anyway. And, I don't see it having an impact on us. If anything, it'll be a very good income generator for us.
And finally, we talk about shirts. Basically, people are asking, when can they order, or will they be able to order shirts before the season starts?
I would hope so, but I also will hope that we obviously won't have the situation that we had last year, which, again, everything was so in the moment, here and now, lastminute.com. We will have a lot of jerseys in the shop for pre-sale right at the start of the season and all the rest. So you've obviously seen the warm-up jerseys which the fans all had the opportunity to kind of put together and what have you. I thought that was a great idea, and I thought, for the whole Christie charity and what have you. I like that type of fan engagement during the off-season. I think it's important that we do. I see the Braehead Clan are now all of a sudden doing the same thing, but it's Gareth Chalmers loves a bit of plagiarism, but I plagiarised plenty off Gareth at the start of last season as well. Don't worry about that. So yeah, I think those types of things are really important. The continual fan engagement throughout the course of the off season. You've got to try and keep people thinking about the Manchester Storm and what have you. Some people like to totally switch off from it. Other people, they're constantly on, when's the next signing? When's the shirts out? When's this out? It is what it is.
You don't have to tell me that.
Absolutely.
And finally, with Manchester Storm's history, Anthony sent in this question. He talked about the missing banners from Manchester Storm's history. We've obviously got one hanging up here in the Storm shelter. Is there any chance that they may be found, or Ruby's retired shirt at all?
I would love to try and get Brad Robichuk at some stage over here to the Storm shelter. Listen, I never saw him in play, but I know how big of a hero he was to everybody here in Manchester. I'd love to see him come over here at some stage, and we'll maybe try and do it next season at some stage if time allows, Brad, and finance allows, and all the rest. But the other we do have one of the other banners, so we may unfurl that towards the start of next season.
Well, we heard it here first. And finally, a perfectly great question to end. James asks, what are you looking forward to next season? What are you hoping for?
I am so looking forward to next season. I really am. You've heard me again say this a million times. Last year was just, the team was put together so quickly, and I look back on it now and think, we did so well in the grand scheme of things. But
does it make it more scary?
In some ways, because all of a sudden, I suppose, second year syndrome and all that type of stuff with fans, and your first year you probably get away with things. I would say you probably have a bit of a bye ball in terms of as a business and as a team for certainly a couple of seasons with teams. So Braehead is the most recent example. It really kind of took them to their kind of third, fourth year to kind of really kick on as a club. I think we've progressed so well in so many areas, and I genuinely think, I trust Pash implicitly with his recruiting. He does so. I'm not saying that other coaches don't, but he puts so much time and energy into watching video and getting references on guys, and he has that time this year, whereas last year, legitimately, and sitting down in our office last year when he arrived with 4 days to go before the first pre-season game, we still had 5 or 6 guys in North America. We still had to sign 3 or 4 guys. It was like looking at a list of players going, okay, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and it was a bit like that, and whereas now we've got a proper full-on summer to kind of do our digging, and I really like the composition of our team so far. we have a couple of really good players on the radar as well, for the final few positions and what have you. So I think Manchester Storm fans will see a different composition of a team next season, and I think it'll really grip the imagination of the Manchester Storm fans.
Is there a number that you're aiming for in the league? How do you kind of pitch where you want the team to hit?
It's a good question. I mean, if you were to offer me a playoff position, I'd snap your hand off. But me being me, I always like to shoot for the stars and see where it takes us. And listen, it's one of those things. I always think people are saying, "Oh, the Sheffield Steelers are going to walk the league, or the Belfast Giants are going to walk the league. The Nottingham Panthers are going."
Well, we saw that this season. Well, it doesn't happen.
Well, it doesn't happen, but I think it's until you actually see all the teams on the ice or on paper, certainly at the start of at the end of August, start of September. Yeah, until you kind of see that, I don't think you can really comment fully. I mean, it's going to. I'll tell you one thing: it'll be the league is only getting stronger and stronger. Of that, take that to the bank and cash it in. I mean, it's the league just continues year on year. I mean, I can remember back to the old Super League days, watching Belfast, and the standard there was phenomenal. And then the Elite League came on board, and a lot of the imports fell away, and the standard dropped away dramatically. And it is now built, in my opinion, it's right on the precipice of the Super League era as well. So, I mean, the overall product that fans are getting to watch here in the Elite League now, it's absolutely top drawer.
Well, I definitely look forward to coming back here and sitting in my seat, which slightly behind me. I call it my seat. Probably someone else's season
the Barmy
ticket.
Army in Block 109.
Something like that, anyway. That's all we've got time for at the moment. Obviously, there'll be some more updates, and you can catch up with the forecast. I've actually got some interviews with Trevor Johnson, Connor Varley and Eric Nielsen coming up, and believe me, from my correspondence, they're going to be funny. In the meantime, you can catch our back catalogue on iTunes and Audio Boom. Until then, keep in touch with us on social media, all the usual ways. See you later.